Hello, hello! Welcome back, everybody, to Adobe Live. My name is Paco Siller, and I'm here with my good friend Fabiola. Fabiola, what's going
It's
on?
me. It's me. We're streaming again.
We're streaming again. We are just talking about it. We haven't streamed together behind the scenes in a hot minute, but now we actually are doing it together in front of the camera, so that's
Public.
fun stuff. Public, yes. We're live on camera
We're
together.
live on camera.
We're live on camera. So, anyways, speaking about what we're going to be doing while we're live, is Fabiola is going to be doing some workflows and show you how to optimize your video editing for various forms of social media. You can see it right there with our fabulous lower third. Some quick housekeeping items. If you're new to us on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. There is a bit.ly. It's Adobe. There it is. Wait for it. There it is. Adobe Live YouTube. All right, we do have an Instagram as well that you can see right there. Follow us on Instagram. And last but not least, we are live. So if you all have any questions, any comments, any concerns, go ahead and chat with us. This is why we're live. It's a two-way street. It's a fun time. Come hang out with us. I'm looking at Behance. I got YouTube up. So I see Robert, Chris, Umcorn, Oliver, Alex, Keys. We got all the friends in the chat. Thank you
Hello.
so much for joining us. Wouldn't be doing this thing without you guys. So again, thank you all for joining us. All right. Well, anyways, without any further ado, Fabiola, what's going on? Tell us a little bit about yourself. What are we doing today? So many questions.
We're doing so much today. Today, I'm going to show you how I edit one social media video and turn it into multiple social media videos for different platforms because every platform has its preferences and how to optimize for it. So like Instagram, they recommend no longer than 60 seconds, but Shorts is maxed out at 60 seconds, but TikTok wants more than a minute. So all these different ways to edit your video, and there's Premiere Pro is great for this because you can take the same edit and have various different edits, different cuts for your platforms. I'm going to show you how I do that quickly because right now I'm sure you're like, what? I don't want to edit the one video 5 different times because I get it. That sounds really annoying. So
Yeah.
today I'm going to take some of the pressure off, make it a little easier for you. And yeah, that's what we're going to do.
I'm going to switch over to your screen. So
Yes.
there's a quick
Here's a little bit
little
about
intro of
me.
Fabiola.
Yes, I'm an
Yeah.
illustrator. I'm a podcaster. I edit my podcast with Premiere Pro. You can see some of my work here. And yeah, I make comics. I do all sorts of stuff, including video. So today I'm going to show you a little bit more about the video end of things. All right,
Fun. All right. Let's get to it.
let's get into it. So I've already kind of loaded this up because, I'm prepared. But I want to also just show you how something like this is set up in case you haven't done it before. And if your organization is already not great, you're going to have a hard time editing and making multiple different cuts. So let's start here. This is what my project folder looks like. To be honest, this one's for this stream because I wanted to keep it nice and tidy. But I really recommend having, so this one's called, this is a project that we're in right now. It's called 2024 Vertical Video Example. But I usually just have 2024 vertical videos, and I have one project for like all the videos that I make for the year. So far, it's worked out great, but I could see a world where maybe it's too heavy. And then I would just do like, first half, second half, that kind of
Right.
thing.
And I do kind of want to reiterate what you said about organization, especially when you're trying to do different media formats. Honestly, when you really start getting to Premiere Pro, and if you're just starting out, one of the biggest things that's going to help you out is just being organized. As you can see, Fabiola already has a lovely folder structure in the top left: sequence, footage, music, adjustment layers. I know we're going to go through all this. I know I might be jumping ahead here, but I do want to just highlight that. That's a big thing when we're working with videos. We want to stay nice and organized.
You have to stay organized or else you're not even ever going to open the project because you're going to be so
Yeah.
confused. You're not even going to know what to do. So here I have the project, and that's usually just the one file, the master project file for the year for all my vertical videos. And then I have a footage folder, which usually I have a ton of different folders here for different footage that I took, right? So for example, this is just an example of how I title it. So it's like month, day, year, and then the footage title. So like, just to make an example, I'll just duplicate and it would be like, uh, you know, I don't even know what day it is, 2024, and then Adobe Live, right? If I was putting all this footage in there. So that's how I keep it tidy. And then that way you have all of your footage in one place in case you need to grab stuff from other other clips, you know, from previous times that you've filmed, because that's all useful. You don't always have to film new clips. And I think a lot of people fall into that and then they're really exhausted when they go to edit.
That's right. And I do see some friends chiming in. We got Claire Haynes in the chat. It's been such a long
Hey.
time. It's good to see you, Claire. Thank you for joining us.
Yes. So once I have my footage, once I have my Finder, right, like your actual computer organized, then I import my footage I just drag and drop it. So I've already dragged it into here, but you know, you just click it and drag it, oops, and put it into the respective bin. I have bins that mimic exactly what I did in my folder structure. So everything kind of mirrors each other and stays tidy. One thing that I did do for this one, and the reason I wanted to show you this project, Paco, is because I used 2 cameras. So I even divided
Ooh, you got a
it.
multicam setup?
Yes, I even divided
Look at
it
you.
by camera. So I have the Sony footage in here, which I think is already selected. Right, there we go. And then I have the DJI footage in here, which I filmed in log. And so that there's some color adjusting that needs to happen that maybe we won't get to today, but you'll get the gist of it.
So I know this question's going to come up at some point. We'll just get it out of the way. What are the cameras you're using? I know you got a Sony and DJI, and man, I gotta say, I feel like DJI is just kind of taking the world by storm right now. They got like great mics now that everybody uses. I know they got camera. Someone just sent me a reel that they're like getting into the e-bike game. I'm like, DJI,
dude, I know. I did get that e-bike ad as well. I was like, is this a new camera? And there was an e-bike. I was confused.
No, it's DJI. I'm like, we're just taking over.
They are. I want to give a shout out to Alessandra. Thanks for coming in to the chat and coming to the tutorial, the live stream live. So a quick little shout out. But back to your question, Paco. Yeah, I have the Sony I'm trying to look at it. EZV10, one of those combination of letters. And I just can't remember it anymore because I've been using my DJI Pocket 3 so much that I've kind of put the Sony in the back burner because it's clunkier, you know, but it's like better in some ways. I don't know. They're different.
I'm looking it up right now. Is this kind of the one that's attached to a gimbal? Is that the one?
Yes, I have the little pocket on the gimbal.
Oh, that's so
Pocket
funny.
3.
I was just
it's the best.
Okay, I was just with somebody at a wedding who was filming content, and he had that, and he was talking it up.
It's
and I actually
really
tried it.
good.
It's like they practically took the gimbal that they have on their drones and they put it on this, and now it's like this again, little camera that's just taking over.
It's taking over. Camera. I really love it because I didn't really experiment here, but if you put it, it's so light and little and compact that you can put it on a tripod and get like really weird angles that you wouldn't dare put your real camera on if you don't have like a really good tripod, which, you know, a lot of people don't. So the DJI has been super clutch, and had that come out before the Sony, I maybe wouldn't have jumped for the Sony at the time, but I love having both. I'm using the Sony right now. I hope you guys can appreciate the quality. So there we go.
It's great quality. Look at you.
You know, you gotta justify
every time we stream
your purchases.
Together, you do. I feel like every time we stream together, your whole studio is getting upgraded with all this cool stuff. We got multi-cam setups now. You got Sony.
I love it. I love little gadgets.
4K monitor. It's great.
It's true. There is a 4K monitor. Okay, so let me just show you how to quickly set up your sequence. I already have it preloaded because, you know, I have examples here. I'm just gonna tuck it all away so you don't get confused. Okay, so there. So if you're starting off just like this, you just want to actually, to be honest, I don't start a sequence like that. I start a sequence like this, and I don't know why I was about to lie to you. Okay, so I just drag the footage. Let me pretend I don't have, it'll look like this if you don't have a sequence selected. And I just drag the footage into the timeline area, and then it creates a sequence. And then it did create it under my footage, so that's already disorganized. So I just move my sequence back to where it belongs, which is right here. Okay, now this is set to the specs of the camera footage, which is not what we want because I filmed all of this in 4K. So you need to go to sequence settings. And you don't want 4K sequences when you're editing for social video. You can film in 4K. That's awesome. You should totally film in 4K if you have enough space for that. But just for actually editing, I just film in what's it called? 1260. What's the name of that? I forgot.
16 by 9 or 9 by 16?
Yes, the standard one, which I'm now blanking on. 1080 by 1920. There we go.
Yeah,
It's
are you
like I know
portrait
it
or
in
vertical?
here.
Or
yeah, like
sorry,
that,
that's
right?
the same thing.
Yeah.
Landscape or vertical. You're 10. Okay, yeah. So you're filming like the portrait, the 9 by 16.
Yes. And then
Yeah.
you can do, right now it's set to 29.97 because that's I think what my camera recorded at. So I'm gonna leave it at that. But you can also the standard tends to be 30. I just didn't do it in the camera, so I'm not gonna do it now. All right. Now my video is super big and massive. So just real quick, I'm gonna go ahead and drop all my footage. So this was just this first clip. I'm gonna go ahead and drag all the other clips that I recorded that day right into my timeline. And they're all gonna look super massive because they're all 4K and this sequence is not 4K. So what we're gonna do is select one of the clips, go to Effect Controls, and scale it to like 50%. And now your clip matches your sequence and everything is fine. And you have to do that to all of your clips. But a quick way to do that is to just right click, copy, and then just drag, highlight all the clips that you need to change, right click, paste attributes. It's going to have that one little attribute that you changed selected. You want to hit OK. And now the rest of your sequence matches. And that's how I actually make a sequence. I think it's like the simplest when you're first starting out. Just drag and drop. And now I'm going to rename my sequence because that's the name of the actual clip, which is not cool. That's not how we're doing it. Again, I tend to keep the same format, which is date and then title. So I filmed this in March, but I'm going to put it for today. The sequence is 07, 08, 24. And then I'm going to say vintage tin unboxing demo. Cool. So there we have it. Now this is all the Sony footage, but I also want the DJI footage because I filmed at the same exact time. So
wait, sorry, Fabiola, I gotta back up. Can I show you a super quick, awesome hack you can do instead of having to scale manually?
Sure.
Okay, so go to the top left where it says Premiere Pro.
Premiere Pro.
Go to Settings, and then go to Media. Okay, and then right there where it says Default Media Scaling, you see how it says None?
Default media scaling.
So it's at the top. There's like 4 drop downs at the top. We'll go down. Nope, you passed it. Default. So it's at the top.
Oh
so
my gosh, right there. Okay.
Yeah.
I was reading the wrong things.
If you do set to frame size, anytime you drag in a clip that's bigger, it's automatically going to scale to you. Set to frame size.
So I want this one, not scale to frame size.
Right. Yeah, set to frame size because it'll keep the resolution.
All right.
So now
when I drop in all the DJI clips.
Yeah, then it should scale it, and then you can verify because your scale automatically fits your frame now.
This is perfect because I usually just scale it to like 63, but now Premiere figured it out, and I don't have
it did it for you, so it fits your canvas. So at 1080 it does it automatically, so you don't have to manually do it, copy and paste, all that good stuff.
I like that. I had no clue about that. One little click of a drop down menu, and everything changed. I love it. Do you think it'll stay like that for this project or universally?
It should stay like that. It's a Premiere Pro setting. So if you like install a new Premiere Pro and you say don't keep your settings, I'll wipe it out. But it should stay by default.
Okay.
I see Chris is saying, great tip, Paco. Yes, I learned this from another live stream and now I always do it. So it should stay like that. It's so
cool. It's so cool. I had no idea. I've seen people do that, the scaling on so many different ways at this point. But that one is nice because you set it and forget it.
Right. You do want to make sure you do set to frame size because it'll keep your quality. If you do scale to frame size, then it actually is you do lose quality. So that way, and again, you can verify that you did the right one because it scaled it down to 62. It doesn't stay at 100.
Okay. Nice. I'm gonna leave that. I'm never gonna touch it again, and I'm gonna do it like that from now on. Now I renamed my sequence all clips because I just imported all of my clips here, and so that's kind of nice because then I don't have to I can just scroll the timeline to see all my clips instead of clicking on each individual. So that's nice. But I filmed this, like this is my A cam. And then you see I go here, I turn on the other camera, which is the DJI, which is this footage right here. 1 second. There we go. It's kind of overhead. That's what I was telling you. I put this one on a tripod, just like actually not even a tripod. You know those desk clamps? I put it on a
Yep.
desk clamp, and I just, because it has a little tripod I can't remember where you can screw it on. I can't remember the name of
Yeah,
that thing.
tripod mount or
Mount.
tripod
There we
head.
go. So I just put
Yeah.
it on there and it worked great. And I didn't even have to, I couldn't do that with my Sony camera because it was too heavy for that mount. And I don't have official overhead tripod because I just haven't got there
Right.
yet. So
Yeah,
this
and
was a
that's the
good
cool
hack.
thing about that camera. It kind of sits on a gimbal already, and I think you just use a little joystick to like point it down or up.
Yeah,
So, I mean, you
exactly.
could obviously probably duct tape it to something and you still get the shot, you know? So
You
that's what's cool about
definitely
how
could.
small and nimble it is.
Yeah, because it's not very heavy. You can kind of get away with a lot. All right, so I know I have these two clips that are the same. They're just different cameras. So I'm going to go ahead and try and put those. I'm going to, actually, I don't know why I did that. I'm just going to stack those over each other. I'm going to drag it, stack it over each other. They're not exactly the same, but that's okay. And then I have all these other clips, and I believe I have this one also overlaps with another clip. So I'm just kind of making space and overlapping it. And these last ones, I don't think are double camera. They're just random clips from each camera. So a quick way to make sure that your sequences, your clips are aligned so that actually the A cam and the B cam match. You just have to sync them. At Premiere Pro, it's so easy to do this. You do need a little space on both sides of the clips. So I kind of just pull it out a bit, and I have the clips stacked here. I just muted the audio so you wouldn't hear all the scrubbing, but you can see the audio there. It's a little different for each. And I just right click, synchronize. Yes, according to audio track 1. All right,
There it is.
there it is. I'm going to
Super, super
make it a little
quick.
bigger for you. So you can see here that at the beginning, where I basically am like looking for the, where I just started, I hit record on one, then I hit record on the other. There we go. And I did a little clapping in that moment so that I could sync it even better. You know, you don't really have to. You can totally get away with not doing it, but it kind of feels safe, you know, in that moment when you're about to record. It feels like
Yeah, definitely
it'll
do
help.
yeah. If you have multicams or audio track, definitely do a clap. You know, in the movies when you see behind the scenes they use a slate, that's what it's called. So that's just a way to help syncing. And then also you can look at the audio waveform. So there'll be
Yeah.
like a quick spike. And then if sync for whatever reason wasn't syncing it right to the second, you can try and visually eyeball it with the clapper. Right there, as you can see, it did it pretty dang good.
Yeah, it's really helpful. So
Mm-hmm.
I always do that. And I have two different sections where I did this, two different clips where I use multicam. So I stacked those clips. There's space on the left, there's space on the right of the clips. You want to right click, synchronize to audio track 1 or whatever audio track you want to sync it to. I could sync it to audio track, another audio track if I wanted to, but that's how I have it set. There we go. And so here you can tell, actually, this is pretty funny. This is classic multicam problems. I recorded all of this thinking that I had turned the second camera on, and I hadn't. And so right here in this moment, I'm like, oh, it's not on.
I think
And I
I
turned it on.
visually saw your
I'm like,
I
oh
saw
my
your
God,
mouth
it's not
go,
on.
oh.
Oh my God, it's not on.
Classic
So
multicam problem.
classic multicam problems. And so I kind of had to repeat myself. So because I know that I repeated myself, I'm going to go ahead and use the razor tool to cut off the intro part. I'm actually not even going to delete it. I'm just going to grab it and put it, oops, selected too many things. I'm going to grab it and put that little thing. I'm just going to toss it over here in case maybe I want to use it for something else, but I keep the multicam part all together, tidy. And it looks like I didn't cut off the tail end of this multicam. So I'm just going to clip that off, do a little ripple delete. And now we have basically the entire, all those clips that were multicam together. And so here you have A cam, and you have B cam, which is just an overhead camera. Okay. Now I'm going to show
Sorry,
you.
Fabiola, did you talk about what this product is or what the content is about?
I haven't. You can watch the full Instagram video over
Look at that
Instagram
plug.
reel on my Instagram, but I found, so I'm an illustrator. I'm always looking for inspiration that's just like offline, you know, because after so much, you can only Pinterest so much. And I
Right.
Pinterest a lot, but sometimes when you find something in real life, wow, what a treasure. So this is about that. I found this little vintage tin. It's like a dessert recipe tin, and it's just so cool. It has so many awesome just illustrations. You can see it right there. And there's just so many of them. They're so cool. So it's just about that. It's just about this really good find.
That
And
is a
I
find. That
I
is,
talk a
and it's
lot about
vintage.
it.
It
Yeah,
looks like it's
it
in
looks
pretty good
new.
shape.
I
Yeah.
know. I thought, and you'll see it in my transcript, which I'll show you in a second. I thought it was a reproduction, but I really don't think it's a reproduction
That
because
is
they're
a
like
find.
kind of
Great
yellowed,
job.
you know?
Yeah.
So I have it right up there. I love it. It's so cute. But anyways, if you want to go find it, there's a few available on eBay. I looked after I found it myself. You know, when you're at the thrift store, you always have to like Google the thing that you're finding to see if it's
Yeah,
like
and
a
see like if
treasure.
it's a find or not. My
Yeah.
girlfriend is like obsessed with thrifting, and
Yeah.
she has found some really cool stuff, and then she'll send me the eBay listing like, look how much this goes for. I'm like, dang,
Yes,
that
exactly.
is a find.
It's always so fun. So this one's like it's not a treasure financially. I think it's like 11 bucks, but it's a treasure because I stumbled upon it and I love it, you know? So I'm going to show you how you actually take all this footage, which right now seems so rando, and make it actually a multicam track. So right now I'm gonna unmute this track right here so you can kind of hear what's going on. Okay. I can't believe what I just thrifted. It's like you see that I'm like warming up in my footage. I'm not quite there yet, but that's why we have this entire thing, which is way too long for one reel. You can see here I've recorded about 8 minutes of uh way more than I needed to talk about this vintage tin, but I was just so excited. So we're gonna edit this down and we're gonna edit a version for Instagram that's long, and then we're gonna edit a version for Instagram that's really short. I'm just saying Instagram, but you can apply this to. I could then do one for YouTube. We'll see what we get to, you know?
Right. And what would you say, Fabiola, is kind of the ideal like real length? I know attention spans are non-existent these days. You know, what are we talking? Under 30 seconds, under 15 secs, under a
Yes.
minute?
So with Instagram, they've recommended 30 to 60 seconds, but honestly, I try to aim for 20 seconds.
20.
So
That's
I
the magic
definitely
number we're shooting
recorded
for.
like 10,000% more than I needed or something. I can't do math on the spot like that. So I just recorded way more than I needed for 20 seconds that I actually am going to cut this down into. But it's okay. I can use it later, you know? So I don't really stress that part. Now, finally, I
That's
want to
why
show
we
you
have
the
Premiere.
multicam. I want to show you the
That's why
multicam,
we.
but we've been sitting on this for a while. So
Yeah, that's
I
it.
basically just highlight all the clips that are A cam and B cam, which are just these 4 clips, 2 different tracks. Right click and I hit nest. Paco, you tell me if there's another way to do this, but this is the way that works for me. So I usually do nested sequence. I'm going to just say nested sequence 1. And I'm going to put it back into my sequence folder. Once it's nested, you're able to right click and then hit multi-camera enable. Now you've enabled multi-camera. It seems like nothing has happened. If that happens to you, you're exactly right. It will look like nothing has changed, but everything has changed in so many ways because now you have a nested sequence. So now both of those tracks are in one seeming sequence. And then you also can preview both clips. You can, yeah, preview both clips at the same time is what I'm trying to say. And the way you do that is by hitting this little multi-camera view button. And now you can see I'm looking at both cameras. I'm going to mute it for scrubbing. I'm looking at both cameras at the same time. So I can see which shot I want to have when. Because sometimes I'm pointing it closer up. Sometimes I'm pointing it closer to A cam, B cam, or I'm not talking to the camera. I'm talking to the wrong camera. I'm talking to the air and I want to just go in between. So this is the way that you can see both and then quickly decide when to have which camera on, which I'm going to show you how to do right now. So
Right. And Fabiola, I think you had to add that little button to toggle on, right? It's not there by default. So can we show our friends how you would do that?
yes, so right here in where all the little buttons are under the program monitor, you can just click the button editor, and you'll see this toggle multi-camera view icon, and you want to drag it down to the bottom. I already have it there, but if I didn't have it there, I would add it in. So like I just took it out and then I drag it back in. And you can put it wherever
Boom.
you want to. I can put it in the beginning if I want.
Right.
And that's it.
Sweet.
Simple. But yeah, if you don't have that button, you're going to freak out because you're going to be like, what's happening?
I've definitely done that before, especially when I was doing proxies. I'm like, there's no proxy button, and then you just have to add it.
Yeah. So when you find out, I feel like that's Premiere. When you find out you don't know how to do something, it's usually just like one click away.
I know.
Yep. You just don't know what to look for. You don't know the name of it, but that's why you have to watch Adobe Live.
That's right. I've learned a lot of things on Adobe Live where that's what it is. You don't know to ask that question because you don't know it exists. But the more you get experience to the app and the more you see how people use it, you're like, oh my goodness. This makes my life way easier.
It's always easier than you think. So once you have multicam enabled, you can press play or hit the space bar, and then you can just hit the number 1 for when you want the first camera on, and number 2 when you want the second on. So that's how you switch. So I'm going to show you real quick, and it's not going to be necessarily what we want. I just want to show you how we switch between the cameras. So I'm going to hit space bar, and it starts on this one, the one that it's selected. I'm going to just go to the second view. You see it's red frame. That means it's recording my changes. So I just flip through this, and I'm sure at some point I'm going to I want to switch to a different camera when it makes sense. And that's how you do it. So I'm just going to switch a few times so you can see the difference. And then I'm going to hit the space bar again to stop the playback. And it automatically made all those cuts exactly where I switched. So when you switch from 1 to 2, that's exactly where it made the cut. And if you can have up to 4. So you can switch between 4 cameras if you decided to do that one day. Though some would say that's overkill for Instagram Reels, but it's up to you.
Never know. That's super easy. Thank you for walking us through that.
So let me just show you. I'm going to turn the program, the toggle multi-camera view off. So this is what the sequence would look like if we were exporting it. I'm going to come here where we have all the different cameras. So this is nauseating because I was just trying to show you what happens, but that's basically how you do it. But you want to watch your actual clip and go from camera to camera depending on what's in view, right? So one quick way to switch, right? This is odd. I just have my hand in here. It's not a great view. If you hit right click multi-camera, you can switch to camera 1. So if you make a mistake, you can always just switch it back. It's that easy.
Easy peasy.
So easy. So I'm going to show you actually the way you can also once all these different words. There's another way once I usually go, guys, I'm having a hard time getting the sentence out. I usually, after I set up my multi-cameras, I go through the entire thing, which I'm not going to make us sit through 8 minutes of, and go between cameras accordingly, right? So here, that makes sense to have camera A, but maybe when I'm opening it right here, I would want camera B. Let's go ahead and take a look at what that looks like. Yeah, that's kind of interesting to be in camera B. Right now, I'm not playing the sequence, so it's not recording this change. I'm just doing it so that you can see the difference and why you would switch from camera to camera. So I have here in one of these folders, the preloaded folders, I have a multicam test, and this is one that I've already cut up for this example. So you can see this is not edited other than the cameras, essentially. Look at this, okay? You need to take a second, take this all in. Initially, when I saw it on the shelf, I swore it was just like a reproduction, like something modern, made to look vintage, but no, this is like original. I mean, it doesn't have a date, but you know, it has the label here, and there's no. So you can see I'm going through and picking out which camera it works best for the entire, here it's 6 minutes. I must have cut a big chunk out. But that's what you want to do. And then, only then do I move on to actually editing the reel. And this is if I have a multi-camera, right? So Paco, a lot of times I don't have a multicam. You can see that I just got this camera and was like, what happens if I use both?
production value. I'm engaged.
Yeah. I'm like,
Multi.
what could happen if I use both
Yeah.
cameras? It definitely adds
Also,
a layer of production post
yeah,
production though.
I do. What are those little like shining balls of light? Is that, do you have a disco ball kind of shining at the wall? Because that is pretty cool set design.
Yes,
I like it.
I have a disco ball shining in my window. I love it, but it's really unpredictable, right? Because I
Yeah.
haven't got the light that like shines on it permanently. So it's
Oh,
just
so you're using
according to the
natural
sun.
light.
I'm using natural light. So
Ah,
this
look at
day just
you.
happened to work out. But if you're gonna record something long, you could see that you could run into some trouble, Paco, because the dots move throughout the
They
day.
do. Yeah, and then I
So
think it makes cuts more evident too, because you're like, wait a second, that cut and then that moved.
yeah,
How much time lapsed, you know?
yeah, exactly. So here, because it was 8 minutes, not too much changed, you know?
Right.
But you can even see here, there's like doubles that weren't happening a second earlier. So,
Uh,
you know, it's cool. It's fine for what I'm
It's cool.
doing. If you were interviewing someone or something, you might not want to have that because it
Yeah.
would be very
Yeah.
obvious. But
I think that's a good point. We live in the world of content creation where everybody's making stuff, and I think those little things are add to the personality and the custom set design, right? I think if you were like in a professional studio setting and you wanted to control the lighting, then yes, you might want to make it not so evident to make it easier. But I think these things are fun. You know, people like
yeah,
stuff like
it's
this. I like it.
forgivable for social media, and I think it's kind of interesting, like you said, it adds something to the scene
I
because it's
agree.
pretty like boring, you know, otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just be a plain wall, but now you got cool little sparkles on it.
Exactly, exactly. Oh, Elisandra's asking the name of these cards. If you want to look these up, they're easy to prepare dessert recipes. That's all I've got to go on. And on the back, there's a Nabisco label. So it's vintage Nabisco. Have at it.
These are made
It's
from
fun.
Nabisco,
Yeah.
like the cookies.
Yes. But
What?
you can see in the beginning. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh, there
Look,
it goes.
how
Nabisco
lucky was I?
brands. Yeah.
So I'm in Pennsylvania, so New Jersey's not that far. So I do the factories are all over the place. So I believe that's why it's from here. And on one of the sides, again, I'm gonna mute for while I scrub through this. On one of the sides, it says like Royal Jello, which is the Jello brand that I guess Nabisco made at some point. I don't know if they're still under the same umbrella. This is a, you know, conglomerate I'm not super up to date on, but yeah, fun facts. Now let's move on to editing. So once I have basically my multi-camera edited, that's when I start editing the different cuts that I want. So let's start off with maybe the long Instagram version, which I'm going to say is going to be max a minute. Again, you can go over. Instagram will let you go over, I think up to 90 seconds, and then it converts it to a like video that looks like a reel but isn't in the reels feed. Kind of
Right.
complicated, but keep it under 60 seconds unless you absolutely need to. Like if it's an apology video, you might need 90 seconds, you know. And that's my
An
case
apology.
study. And
Oh,
you
that's
wouldn't
funny.
want like the disco ball lights if it's an apology video.
No, you gotta be serious, you know.
Super
You gotta have a
serious.
dog that you're like holding on to
Yes.
show empathy.
Exactly, exactly. You got to make yourself seem really
Human.
forgivable. But anyway,
Forgivable.
um
That's funny.
basically I take that multicam edit. I don't mess with it after that. I just leave it be. And then what I do is I duplicated it and I renamed this cut IG extended. So this is going to be my long Instagram version. I'm going to go ahead and hide my preloaded stuff. That's where I have stuff already baked for us. So I'm going to double click this. I feel, Paco, that I always, when I duplicate sequences, I often edit in the wrong sequence. And it's just something you have to learn to not do, I guess. I don't think there's a trick around that unless you have one.
What do you mean? You meant to do a shorter one, but you accidentally got in the wrong sequence?
No, so like if I have multicam, this is the original multicam edit, right? But I want to edit it further, so I like to duplicate it.
Right.
And then I'll start editing. But I'm
Oh, I see
editing
what you,
the
yeah, you didn't double
original.
click it. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So
Yeah.
I feel
I've
like
made that
this
before.
happens to me all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you put in a different folder to like force yourself or maybe give it a different label.
Yeah.
But that's just like extra clicks, extra click mileage. But yeah,
Yeah.
very, very simple
It
thing to
happens to me.
overlook.
I wish
I've
there
done it
was a
before too.
setting where if I duplicate it, it opens it. Open that sequence automatically for me.
Ooh, we have a suggestion from the chat that I think can be fun. So
Ooh.
Keys is saying, can I give you a tip, Fabiola, an idea how to use those disco ball lights perhaps better? Keys, you
Let's
have our
do it.
attention. We'll let you
Yes.
type it out and then you can continue, Fabiola. But
Okay,
yes,
okay.
let's
Well,
hear
we're
the
waiting for the
suggestion.
advice, Keys. So once I'm in the sequence that you want to edit, so make sure you're in the right sequence here when you duplicate. I'm in the multicam extended. So this is the one that I'm going to edit into an extended version for Instagram. Now, like I said, I talked a lot. I recorded a lot of clips here. And even though I knew that it was going to be a vertical video, I just wasn't like, it took me a while to warm up. So I have a lot of like retakes in here that I need to figure out which ones I'm actually going to keep. The best way to do this is to use text-based editing. Confetti, confetti, text-based editing. It's
you know how
so
Apple
good.
has like reactions? You can give a thumbs up. Like we need that on Adobe Live. Like
we do. All right. So if you go over to text, if you don't have this exact view, just go to Windows and make sure text is selected, and you'll be able to see this. One thing I didn't cover in the beginning, Paco, was this workspace, which if you just go over to Window Workspaces, I'm in the vertical workspace. It says vertical double, but I don't have it set as that right now. It's the vertical workspace. Looks the same. So definitely use that. And if your vertical workspace doesn't look like that, then hit resave to save layout, and then it will. So here we are. It didn't change anything about my project.
you like made one window like just a little longer.
A little longer, you know, like I don't know, it just happens when you're working on the project. Yeah. So there you have it. And then you'll see these exact tabs, and you want to go to text. Now, it already processed this audio. So this is the audio from my audio 1, I think. Let's see. Yeah, well, it's the same audio, but I just selected which one I'm going to solo. So that's how you know. Okay, so once we're up here, you can just see everything that I said. And I said a lot. I talked a lot to myself, which is good for me, but bad for us now when we're editing. The quickest thing that I tend to always do is delete all these like pauses. Sometimes I don't do this if I think I'm gonna need some of the pauses, but let's go ahead and show you how you would do this. If you knew for a fact you wanted to get rid of those pauses, you just click here and then you go to, hold on, no, it's here. Filter, and you wanna hit pauses. And now it's selected all of the pauses throughout the entire sequence. So there you go, the entire timeline, all the times I paused. I'm gonna go ahead and say delete. I'm gonna say delete all, and boom, it's deleted all my pauses and just smushed everything together. So now I sound like I never even took a breath. I mean, it doesn't have a date, but you know, it has the label here, and
that's great. That is such a fast, efficient way to do it. Before this, I would look at the waveform monitors and make gaps, and then and it's so easy to miss them because we're talking all the time. There's little gaps, but man, with
exactly, it's so easy. And I feel like when you're doing reels, you definitely want to remove those pauses for the most part. I mean, we have 60 seconds in the extended version. Okay, so you really want to cut all the filler out. Another thing we can do is we can do pauses, and I'm pretty sure you can edit the length of the pauses. 1 second. I think it's here. Yes, minimum pause length. So you can even say, if I pause for 0.5 seconds, identify that as a pause. So you can see they're all right here. And then you can, once again, hit the little filter icon, select pause. It will select all my pauses. Wait, why isn't it selecting my pauses? Maybe it's a glitch.
So I think you cut everything that was 0.1 and below, so there won't be one that's that long, right?
Oh, bad math. There we go.
0.05. There you go.
Okay. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So now it should identify all of them. Hold on. Let me just. Go like this. Oh, it's not doing it this time.
Or I think you just cut them all out because it was at 0.5.
But now I have all of
That's at point.
these that
What
are
length does
point
that say?
1.
0.1.
And then search settings. Oh, here we go. You want to change it there. And then it should do it.
There.
So close.
Almost there. Pauses.
Yeah. You
I don't know,
can do it. I've done it before.
Cool. So you can customize it to say
you can
how.
customize it.
Just trust us, all
just
right?
trust us that it usually works, and maybe because I already deleted the 0.5
Yeah, I think it's because
ones,
you cut them out.
Yeah, it's being it's confused. Rightfully so. Another thing I can do is look for a specific word like, right? I feel like a lot of times you say like a lot. I do. You can go ahead and delete that, and you can also delete all of the times you say like. There's 26 results of times I say like. I'm not going to delete them because I don't know what I said, but if you know that you need to remove that ahead of time, you can go ahead and do that right here. You don't have to listen to your entire 7 minutes of footage to figure that out.
Right.
It's really handy. Okay. Now you can see I have some adjustment layers here. Just ignore that because I'm not showing you that today. Or maybe I will in a little bit, but they're just for color, but not for the meat of the edit. Okay, so now once we are in here, just want to open my sequences after I did the workspace. It switched it all up on me. Go ahead. Okay. So I'm in the extended. Now it's time to actually edit this. So what do I want to say? What do I want the main audio of this to say? Let's play it through. Oops. There. Oh my gosh. It's because I'm in the wrong monitor. There we go. I can't believe what I just thrifted. It's like the best thrift find in so long. You know, sometimes you just need one good thrift find to keep you going in your thrifting journey. I found the coolest thing. Okay. So let's say I want to keep that. I want to keep I think I need to change some of these words, and I need to show you how to do that. So all you do is double click, and then you can replace, if the auto transcribe tool didn't get the exact words, you can go ahead and replace that. So let's listen back. I can't believe what I just thrifted. It's like the best thrift find in so long. You know, sometimes you just need one good thrift find. So I said thrift find, not refind. So I'm just going to double click and then write that in, click off of it, and then there you go. Good thrift find to keep you going in your thrifting journey. I found the coolest thing as an artist. So these are multiple takes that I'm doing, right? So I'm going to say I want this, and I want this part, right? The part that I just played, but I don't want the part where I start repeating the intro a million times to see if I can deliver it better. Let's just go with the first one. Or let's go through and see a second one, because that's how I would actually do it. I would go right into here. Let's start here. I found the coolest thing as an artist. I can't believe I found this. That doesn't make sense. As an artist, I can't believe I thrifted this. Look at this. Okay, you need to take a second. I'm just laughing at all the different ways I could intro the same thing.
I sometimes have to record promos for our shows, and I do the exact same thing, Fabiola. And my girlfriend's like working in the office next door, and I just know she like shuts her door and puts on headphones. Yeah. We're like, hey, what's up, guys? Well, you know, you're just doing so many iterations, and
you're just like repeating yourself, trying to get the right energy, the right cadence. Yep. Yeah, nobody can be home while I do this, because then I'm just like whispering, like I can't, but like.
I just found
the coolest thing because I can't talk loud because somebody's in the house. Okay.
Have a streaming voice.
Yes, of course. So let's say I'm gonna get rid of this part where I'm like repeating myself. All you do is highlight it and hit delete, and now it's automatically made a cut there. I'm gonna undo so we can get a real close up look at what just happened here. Oops. You know, guys, I have this mouse and I set up shortcuts, and sometimes I forget what they are and my timeline goes crazy. That's my truth. So here we are. I'm going to go ahead and select what I need to delete. which was this part. I decided I didn't really like that take. I'm just gonna go ahead, highlight, click delete, and there you go. You saw how that just cut it and put it where it needs to be. It's amazing. It's my auto transcribe is top tier.
Top tier. Val sees us. She goes, after a dozen takes, you realize you've been talking to yourself completely alone.
Yeah, you
hey
start
guys,
to go.
Val here by myself.
You start to go crazy, and you're just like, are words real? Like I start to doubt phrases.
Yeah, and then words that should be so simple like become tongue twisters, and you just can't say it, and you're like, oh my goodness, come on.
That's why you need to take a break.
Yeah,
go have water, take a lap,
make an apology video, come back.
Yeah, especially for your apology video, you want to get all those takes right.
You gotta get it right.
That's so. What if I just pre-record an apology video? That'd be so funny.
Just
like the most generic
for all the apology
videos. Okay.
Apology video template 1, and there's like 13.
It's a good one. It's a content creation joke. Okay. So basically I do that until I have the long edit. So let's keep going here. So I can't believe I thrifted this is kind of like a good hook, but I said it after, like, let's play these 12 seconds and see what makes sense. I can't believe what I just thrifted. It's like the best thrift find in so long. You know, sometimes you just need one good thrift find to keep you going in your thrifting journey. I can't believe I thrifted this. Look at this, okay? You need to take a second, take this all in. Okay, so maybe this part, I feel like I have the right energy. When I said, look at this, I feel like I was really like in the zone. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and highlight everything above it. And instead of deleting it, because I do like it, and this is the extended version, right? So like we need some good cut. So let's go ahead and move that. So I'm just gonna okay, I gotta be honest, sometimes when I do this, I have a hard time moving things around. And sometimes if I'm correct, I just right click. Yes, this is what I do. I hit cut. And then I go where I want it, which is right after this. And then I hit paste. And then it just pops it right in there. That's pretty cool.
I didn't know you could copy and paste from the text editor like that.
I prefer doing that because then I can really like put the playhead where I want it and put it in there, as opposed to like dragging it and being a little like unsteady. So yeah, it just moved that. Let's play it through. Let's see what it looks like now. Look at this, okay? You need to take a second, take this all in. I can't believe what I just threw. All right, so there's a random it here. Yeah. I thought that it was in. So let's play that through. In. So we don't want that. So go ahead, and there's probably somewhere where I need this but we're gonna pretend I don't need it right now. And I can just put it back in the future. Let's play it through now. Look at this, okay? You need to take a second, take this all in. I can't believe what I just thrifted. It's like the best thrift find in so long. You know, sometimes you just need. Okay, it's a bit repetitive. That's a hook. But I'm hooked. This beginning is good. Look at this, okay? You need to take a second, take this all in. And I could, in theory, switch cameras in the beginning, and then you wouldn't be able to look at this until you paid attention. I don't know if that's a good move. We can try it. Let's see what that looks like.
See how it looks. Yeah, let's see how the engagement plays out.
Okay, so the second camera's not doing so great here, but let's go to right click, multi-camera, and do camera 2. And now I'm going to turn it. I have to turn multi-view on and off because otherwise I start getting confused when I'm actually playing it. But let's see. Look at this, okay? You need to take a second, take this all in. It could be the move, but it doesn't really work with the way I set up the B cam, unfortunately. So I'm gonna go ahead.
Looks like it's a little out of frame. We gotta get that. Gotta get that hook. We got 3 seconds to captivate the audience. There it is.
Yeah, this is better. So we're gonna keep that, and then we're just gonna keep editing. Now, for the sake of time here, I'm gonna show you exactly how I would do something like this. For the most part, I go through the entire thing, and I take the best parts and delete everything else. I don't have, we can do it here. Let's see, as an illustrator, these are going to provide so much inspiration, and they're just so cute. So I want to keep that. Maybe I can, so it's hard because I'm scrolling really fast, but I usually go through it and I delete duplicates until I find the one that I want. So it would look something like this. I have it already done here. This is, yes, this is my 51-second edit. This is the one that's actually on Instagram. And I think it would do better if I had a 30-second edit. So that's what we're going to do instead of going through the all clipped, the entire footage. This one's a little smaller. So let me play this clip and you'll know what I ended up keeping. I can't believe so maybe I should do this. I can't believe I thrifted this. Look at this, okay? You need to take a second, take this all in. When I saw this on the shelf, I thought at first that it was just like a reproduction, like a modern take of this vintage pattern. But no, this feels like not just your run-of-the-mill little box. This is the best part. In here are a ton of recipe cards for different like Jello recipes, which, you know, iconic. Each single one has its own little illustration with the recipe on the back. It's literally the coolest thing I've ever seen. And there's just tons of these. I mean, the whole thing, original illustrations with a simple little recipe on the back, and it comes in this amazing tin. So these are all the amazing recipe cards I got. I mean, there's so many more. As an illustrator, these are gonna provide so much inspiration, and they're also just so cute. I can't believe. So there we go. And I have it looping, which you can always loop playback by adding this icon to your button editor. So that's the 55-second edit, which feels good, but it's not going to do as well. And I want that 20 to 30-second edit.
Sweet
and
spot.
There are parts where I was kind of falling asleep in this video. Like when I was pulling the cards out, who needs to see that? They know how cards come out. So let's go ahead and do this short edit.
Okay. And I do got to shout out, I like the little things you did to increase the engagement. Like that quick zoom in at the beginning, really captivating it. Then you had that cool little sound effect. It's like,
yes,
when you show it. It's the little things, you know, those little things add up, really make that video.
It does. And I have like those sounds usually in my music folder here, Magical Twinkle. So I add those to my music folder. And then every time, it should be like FX folder, but I'm just not getting that granular with it all the time. But then I can always use the same kind of effects so people know it's like my video, you know, because you don't want to use, you want to have your little brand of noises and stuff.
That's a good point.
But it did take me a long time to find this twinkle, and sometimes it can be difficult, but it's always worth it.
It's worth it.
So now let's do the short edit, and I want to delete the part where I'm opening the tin and going through it. I'm pretty sure we don't need that part, so let's go ahead and find it. Production, like a modern take of this vintage pattern. But no, this feels like not just your run-of-the-mill little box. This is the best part. In here are a ton of recipe cards for different like Jello recipes, which, all right, so I get why I kept it, but unnecessary. So I think let's try just taking out in here, because there's all these pauses, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and highlight this. I think I could just delete that whole part. Now we're down to, we cut like 10 seconds off. That's great.
That's a good chunk.
That's a good chunk.
That's a lot.
So let's just see how that looks. Pattern. But no, this feels like not just your run-of-the-mill little box. This is the best part. Each single one has its own little illustration with the recipe on the back. I feel like that works. It's not, it's a little crazy because like I say, this is the best part, and then I'm like whispering, but I feel like for Instagram, it might be okay. If this was like a YouTube video, maybe that wouldn't flow, but you know, Reels is a little crazy. You can get a little wild with it, but there is a version where maybe I take out this part. This is the best part. Each single one, just because it's like a different flow. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's take that out. We're shaving seconds left and right here.
Can you play from the start real quick? I feel like I have another suggestion on where we might be able to cut. Let's see.
Let's do it.
Go ahead.
I can't believe I thrifted this. Look at this, okay? You need to take a second, take this all in. When I saw this on the shelf, I thought at first that it was just like a reproduction, like a modern take of this vintage pattern. But no, this feels like not just your run-of-the-mill little box. Each right
I
there.
think yes.
I
I think
agree.
that
I
can be shaved
agree.
off because it's just
It's a
adding more
little
details we
random.
already know, and
Yeah.
it's just we already established what it is. You already did a good line on it, and that's where
Yeah.
I'm like those precious seconds.
They
I do this
count.
a lot of time. What they do when you're culling your videos, you're like, oh my babies that I just have to keep
You're like, I need that little
getting
detail. You
I
need to
know,
know.
but in the grand scheme of things, you're like, you probably don't,
You
because
don't.
we're already getting the gist of it from like those first couple seconds.
I totally
So
agree.
yeah, this
I
is oh man, this is like true video editing right here.
This is it. This is what the fun
This
is
is what
all
we
about.
do. Yeah,
So
this is literally what we do.
the reason I kept this was because I was like, I really like this clip. But the beauty is I can use that clip later for parts of the dialogue that I am keeping in. So don't be precious with it. Delete. We're down. We're closer to 38 seconds. Guys, we're getting so
Getting
close.
there.
25 would be ideal. If we can make it to 20,
Yeah.
I'd be so happy. All right.
We get gold stars.
Now, I don't want to keep playing you the same thing because I know it drives me a little wild. So let's see. You need to take this all in. Maybe this. Wait, no, that's right at the beginning. Each single one has its own little illustration with the recipe on the back. It's literally the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I can get rid of that.
That's another one.
That's
yeah,
the reason
I think
I'm
that's
talking
more just
about
filler.
it.
Yeah, that's like more filler stuff that we get the idea. We're saving those.
That was me
precious
excited
edits.
in the moment
Slice.
talking about it, but
yeah,
you don't need to be this.
It's so funny how you do like a couple rounds and you're like, oh, I cut enough, and then you watch more and more. You're like, then it's just you got to keep rewatching it, and as you do it, you figure out these little things that you can cut, and before you know, you've shaved off like 15, 20 seconds, which doesn't sound like a lot. I just cut up a
little bit. I just cut a little bit off. Let's see.
I mean, the whole thing. Original illustrations with a simple.
Okay, that's the same thing as I said right in the sentence above it, if you look at it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and delete it. Again, I did like the way the camera looked, but I can always add that back without the audio, just the video clip if I really want it, even though I think we have plenty of good clips in here.
And it comes in this amazing tin. So these are all the amazing
recipe cards I got. I don't need to say this. What was I thinking?
So these are all the amazing recipe cards I got. I mean, there's so many more. As an illustrator,
I kind of like this one because I like this clip. And
it's like an establishing shot, you're given more context on what it is. I mean, I don't know if I would cut this. I think I would rewatch the whole thing at some point and then see if I really need that. But I think that's giving more valuable detail on like what's inside.
It's kind of nice to zoom back out because we've been kind of close up, and I can't just use this clip without the audio because I'm talking. So that would be odd.
So these are all the amazing recipe cards I got. I mean, there's so many more. As an illustrator, these are going to provide so much inspiration, and they're also just so cute.
Okay, so that's like me ending it. That's fine, but I don't need to say this. But let's play it from here. We'll see if we miss it.
How many seconds are we at right now? Is it
we are at
26?
26 seconds. So this is pretty good. I'd be pretty proud of this. I realize I have the subtitles on. I'm going to hide those because when you're editing, you wouldn't have those yet, but I'll show you how to put them on there if we get to it.
Let's watch the whole thing. Let's see if there's one or two more things we can
I'm going to go ahead and set the out point so we can just really get a sense of how this would go.
I can't believe.
Wait, there you go.
I can't believe I thrifted this. Look at this, okay? You need to take a second, take this all in. When I saw this on the shelf, I thought at first that it was just like a reproduction, like a modern take of this vintage pattern. Each single one has its own little illustration with the recipe on the back. So these are all the amazing recipe cards I got. I mean, there's so many more. These are going to provide so much inspiration, and they're also just so cute. I can't believe I thrifted this.
Okay, so
look at this.
We have some problem spots where the edit is kind of jumping around. And it doesn't flow as nicely as it did before because there was more of the talking to like level out my cadence. But I think we can still work with something here. What do you think, Paco?
Yeah, I think so too.
Let's see.
When I saw this on the shelf, I thought at first that it was just like a reproduction, like a modern take of this vintage pattern.
All right, so that right there is just like a
That
little
could probably
mistake.
go.
Yes, I think let's
What do you think
call
about
it.
that?
Let's call it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I would just, I feel like this is just left over from when we were editing with the text-based editor.
Right.
Sometimes if you miss a pause, you end up with these little bits, but you can just catch them on playback. And I just delete them. There's a lot of different ways to delete stuff, but I'm just gonna do it like this. And then, oh, because I have the caption, it's not letting me. 1 second. Triple delete. There we go. Because I didn't know which pause it was up here.
Each single one.
All right. So that's better. Let's see. Play it through again.
Each single one. Thought at first that it was just like a reproduction, like a modern take of this vintage pattern. Each single one.
That's kind of an odd.
Yeah, it's kind of missing a little bit of a transition. You know, it'd be crazy if you bring in back that it and it works. No, just kidding.
Yeah, that's true.
Remember that missing?
It could be missing the it.
It could be missing it.
Or
no, sometimes,
it could be.
Yeah, sometimes I like if there's like a but or like and, then I like bring those in there, you know, and you do like a jump cut. But I don't know. Unless you have those on deck and you know where they're at, it's kind of hard to do it.
When like a modern take of this pattern, no, because that's like a full sentence, like a modern take of this vintage pattern.
Yeah, can you replay it one more time? I think I have maybe a possible solution. Just play the whole thing.
When I saw this on the shelf, I thought at first that it was just like a reproduction,
from
like
the
a
start.
modern take.
Oh, from
I just want to get like from the big. I want to get the big picture here.
Let's get the big picture, guys.
Let's get the big picture.
I can't believe I thrifted this. Look at this, okay? You need to take a second, take this all in. When I saw this on the shelf, I thought at first that it was just like a reproduction, like a modern take of this vintage pattern. Each single one.
Okay, so this is going to be a wild card here. You might shut it down, but I think if you get rid of that whole section where you're talking about a reproduction, it's going to shave more seconds, and then it might make that transition work because we're going from showing it to then describing it. It's a big cut. I don't know. I mean,
I think it might be worth it. Again, we're trying to get under 20 seconds. This is the objective here.
Is it? So let's see. So that's why I want to see the bigger picture to see the before and after if we were to cut that.
Yeah.
But let's cut that whole thing because I feel like that can go and then it might just work better and we shaved.
Because this was just more.
It's a win-win.
This was more about the discovery, and we don't need to talk about that. So in the story, in the story arc, we don't really need this.
Yeah.
So we just need look at this. It's cute. That's gonna be like 6 seconds deleted. Let's go. Let's go for it.
I mean, okay. So then let's replay it from here. Then let's see how this flows.
From the top.
This is how we edit
it is
people
5
from
seconds.
the top.
I can't believe I thrifted this. Look at this, okay? You need to take a second, take this all in. Each single one has its own little illustration with the recipe on the back. So these are all the amazing recipe cards I got. I mean, there's so many more. These are gonna provide so much.
Okay,
I think that works.
That worked.
That
part was not a problem. It's the rest of the video that's got some issues, but we can keep on going. So
where are we at now? Are we at 20 seconds now?
We are under 20 seconds. Now it's just
20. Oh my
now
goodness.
it's just about making it flow right. So if this was perfect, you could just take it from here. You have your long edit and you have your short edit, but I feel like short edits take me longer. Do you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, because
you have to
like you shave things off, but then things don't flow like they did on the director's cut, the longer version. So then you just got to figure out other ways to make it, flow.
Exactly. And it's not the easiest, but what if this is the one that gets you all the views?
This could be the one.
This could be the one that really takes off. And it would do absolutely nothing for me in so many ways because it's about a vintage tin box. But that's all right. All right. You need to take a second. Each single one has its own illustration with the recipe on the back. So I like the text-based editing because I don't have to replay as much, which I think makes it more approachable for me. So, okay. So I think right here, it's a little odd.
On the back. So these are all the amazing recipe cards I got. I mean, there's so many more. These are going to provide so much inspiration and they're also just so cute.
I feel like this sentence could go, but then it might be a little flat because I like that shot. So
Can
let's
you?
see.
Yeah. I like that one because I feel like it's a little bit before we actually get into what
What if
the
we move
contents are in the
this? What
box
if we
are.
just, yeah, what if we
That's
just
kind of what
move
I was
this?
thinking. It's if you move that early and then when you flip it over, maybe that's like supplemental B-roll because now we're looking that there's a recipe. Like I don't think you should get rid
Yeah.
of the one that's recipe, but maybe it's just a matter of like shuffling them around.
So I'm going to cut that. I'm going to go here to the end, or right here to the beginning. Paste it. All right, let's see. Wait, I'm not sure if I put it in the right spot. Did I? Yeah. Okay, in the beginning.
Yeah. And Barbara's
Sorry, guys, I
saying that
got
her mom
lost.
had a recipe box. Talk about vintage. That's so cool.
Yes. They're cute.
I can't believe I thrifted this. Look at this, okay? You need to take a second, take this all in. So these are all the amazing recipe cards I got. Each single one has its own little illustration with the recipe on the back.
So that works audio-wise. I think we need to move some of the clips around.
Yeah.
Okay. So we go into here. Let's see, because I think there's just like one part that's just really odd. Yeah, right there. And maybe I could put that clip there instead. Let's see how long this clip is. We'll see.
Amazing recipe cards I got, each single one.
Yeah, it's kind of odd. So let's
cut.
just delete it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
In. So these are all the amazing recipe cards I got. Each single one has its own little illustration with the recipe on the back. I mean, there's so many more. These are going to provide so.
Okay, so here where I go through two of these, that's just because we use text-based editing to refine the audio, but we want that clip to be seamless. So I'm going to go ahead and delete the second part of the clip and just extend it. Well, now I don't know where it extends to. Hold on. I go like this. Maybe this way. And pull it up. It's not quite long enough. Let's see what happens.
I mean, there's so many more. These are going to provide so much inspiration.
Okay, so we're just going to cut off the part where it's a little unsteady. I think I hit the camera.
I mean, there's
so cut that off and start it there. So now I'm ignoring text-based editing because I'm not editing the audio and I'm just editing the clips. So let's see if it looks good like this.
With the recipe on the back. I mean, there's so many more. These are going to provide so much.
Again, I have to edit this clip.
I would maybe cut it right before your
when
hand comes in. Yeah, so it looks like a good hero shot before the hand comes in at the end.
So just by itself, you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Unless, I mean, if you have time to flip it, then I think that could add more. But either keep it as a steady shot, or the shot is you flipping it, assuming we have enough time to show all that.
All right, let's do it as
on the back. I mean, there's so many more.
Yeah, but a little longer, I'd say.
Yeah.
Look at me, I'm like your hovering art director.
That's fine. It makes it so much easier, right? Like, because otherwise I'm questioning all these things in my own head.
Yeah, and just to go off of that, I do think it's good to have a second pair of eyes on these videos. I feel like when we're staring at these for hours, it's easy to like miss things that we think might not be a thing, but for somebody else it might be like, wait, that was kind of weird. So anyways, I have a twin brother who does video production. I send him all my videos and he's like, dude, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I didn't even notice that. I'm like blind
you get used
right now,
to it.
You get used to it. It's easy to overlook things that you think aren't so jarring, but to someone seeing it for the first time, they were like, that's kind of weird.
That's crazy. Yeah, so I feel like maybe it's too short. It's too short of a clip.
It can be. So
I think
that's what I was thinking is either you extend it, or another thing I've done before is I've like done slow motion.
Yeah.
There's a plugin called Twixtor where you can extend clips and it actually does a pretty good job. But
Ooh.
I do that plenty of times like this where I want a shot, but it's not quite long enough. But that's a whole different wormhole that we don't even have to get into. But
it's a good idea though.
There's many solutions to problems. Yeah.
Sometimes I've had to go like forward and then I reverse it to just like make it longer.
Nice.
It's kind of, if it's like a simple movement, it's fine.
Yeah, kind of like a loop, like where it bounces back,
loop,
but it's quick where you might not notice it. That's a good trick.
Again, only for a few seconds. If too much, you'll notice. But all right, this is like a little action shot. Let's try this action shot right where in that.
Cool. And just a quick time check, Fabiola. We got about 15 minutes left.
Perfect.
recipe on the back. I mean, there's so many more. These are going to provide so much.
So that
worked. I like the flip. Yeah, that
yeah,
totally
we just
worked.
need to extend it a bit. So let me go ahead and see what this looks like.
With the recipe on the back. I mean, there's so many more. These are going to provide so much.
That's good.
Perfect.
That works.
Perfect.
Very nice. Great job. Yeah, I
we
think either
are
static or the flipping action, but the flipping action one worked way better.
Yeah, it was long,
Nice.
just long enough.
Yeah, that's good.
So I'm going to show you how we can go from just this plain one, which would be great for TikTok. So I would say this is what I tend to do. If I have the short edit, I also want a short edit for TikTok, right? Can't hurt. I just, before I add the captions or with the captions off, I export that for TikTok because you can use the built-in closed captioning in TikTok when you go to upload your video. But for Instagram, where I feel like aesthetics are more important and people don't mind, I prefer to use my own closed captioning, mostly because they won't glitch as much. Like the Instagram editor is it's not my favorite. So I prefer to put them in. So using the transcript, which we use to edit, I just hit closed captioning. Well, you have to make sure that the spelling's right. Let's double check because I can't be sure if we've already edited all the words.
I can't believe I thrifted this. Look at this, okay? You need to take a second, take this all.
So we're missing an okay. Something like that. I don't really prioritize grammar in this case.
This, okay? You need to take a second, take this all in. So these are all the amazing recipe cards I got. Each single one has its own little illustration with the recipe on the back. I mean, there's so many more. These are gonna provide so much inspiration and they're also just so cute.
All right, so we're good.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's good. Grammar's good.
Grammar's good, or at least spelling is good.
Spelling, right.
Grammar, I don't know, but we just, we don't talk, I don't talk grammatically correct, so I'll leave it at that.
Who does?
So let me just replay what I did because I did it without telling you. Once you have edited your transcript, it's just one speaker, so I never changed the name, but that's a future Adobe Live. You hit closed caption and you'll get, it shows up like this. Just expand that. Now for Instagram, the minimum duration in seconds, like 1, as low as it can go, 1.2. The maximum length in characters, this one I like to keep a little higher, maybe like 14. And the lines I want single. I don't want the captions to be stacked because I want them to like show up almost one at a time. So I'm gonna say create captions. And then it put them on my track and you'll see them on a separate, I'm gonna mute for scrubbing. You'll see them on a separate track here called subtitle. And now you're watching them play at the bottom. So this is them with
I think we're covering, sorry, hold on. Okay, our cameras, we're covering the subtitles, now we can see it.
Okay, cool. So you can see them at the bottom because they are not edited in any way. So that's just like plain captions. Now let's go in and edit those so they have some style, some branding, some character. You want to select the captions and go over to Essential Graphics, hit edit, and you're in the caption editing space. I have a lot of presets already, but really you can just select anything that you want. And it'll change it. Most importantly, you want to change the zone. So I like to keep them in the middle if that's fine. If it doesn't like interrupt my face too much or the subject too much, but I almost prioritize the captions over everything else. So that's just how I do it. Other people might do it a different way. You can also put it like kind of at the top. And you can adjust it by hitting these little, right here. So I could put them up there too. That kind of works. But I think I'm just going to keep it at the center. And I'm going to move it to the center. And you hit the font that you want. So I'm going to do Helvetica New Bold. Perfect. I'm going to make them a little bigger because they're coming in one at a time. And again, this is going to be like, people are going to find this while they're scrolling. So you need to capture their attention. So let's say 75, let's say 85. Okay. Maybe that's a little aggressive. I take it back. 65. We'll leave it at 65. That feels okay. And I'm going to change the color. I have a library of colors, but if you don't, you can just use the eyedropper and select any other color. But usually like a lime yellow or a lime green is recommended. I'll do lime yellow. And there we go. And now that's only applied to this one caption. It's not applied to all the other captions, but this is a quick fix. I'm just going to hit tracks under track style. I'm going to hit the little arrow. I'm going to, wait, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to hit the little plus sign and say create style and name it. So I'm going to name it Helvetica New Bold CC. Save to projects. And now I'm going to go down, make sure that's selected, and I'm going to apply it to all the captions on the track. Where is that button? Everything changed.
Is
Let's
it
see.
do it?
Oh, did it
do
already
the-
do it? Yeah, it already did it.
Well,
Just when I
I
selected
did it. Okay, cool. Right.
Okay. All right. It's when you change it.
I know what button you were looking for, where you
Yeah.
have to tell it to like do it for all the subtitles.
Do it for all of it. But it already
But I think
did
since
it,
you created a new style, it just applied it to everything.
which is perfect, which is exactly what we wanted. So now we have awesome captions.
Look at that.
So that's what I do for captions. And then, you know, if you wanted to take it a step further, you can also go to, is it this one? There's one of these where you can say graphics. Okay, here we go. No, upgrade caption to graphics. I always lose this button, but if you have it selected and you go to graphics and titles and then hit upgrade captions to graphic.
Nice.
Oops. It upgraded only that one. So hold on, I got to select everything. And then hit upgrade captions to graphic. And now all of those are down here. You saw them go from this little track to actual graphics that you can edit. So sometimes I've been experimenting with, like, what if you want all the words to show up in like weird ways, which I think you've seen probably, you've probably come across it on Instagram. I just kind of
Got it. Yeah, sometimes they'll, like, if there's two words, they'll highlight one like red and then another one. You know, it gives you more customizable options by making it its own graphic layer instead of a subtitle one. So nice.
Exactly. So now I have
great tip. Yeah,
more options here. So now I can say, I can't believe, now maybe believe would be in a different spot. And so you can just kind of play with these, right? We could have them all come in like across my face just to make it weird. Or you can change the color. So if I go to this and I go to essential graphics, hit I believe, I have it with this color, but I can change it to bright red.
There it is.
I can't believe.
Algorithm engagement increasing with everything.
With every step.
It's just improving. I see the percentage going up.
And something else that I didn't show you was you can also just break up the way the captions show up, right? So like, I can't believe that's a little odd. You would probably want it to say I can't believe and then the rest of it. So if we go back to a time when the captions were captions, which is right there.
Back to a time. There we go.
Back to a time. So with the caption selected, you go to text and you see transcript was when the actual transcript was on. Right now you don't see it because I have it muted, but it's right there. Captions. Now these are the timed captions that you have. So here you can actually continue to edit it if you didn't edit it before or if it got broken up weird. So usually when I do this, there's usually that split button, but it's not there. Maybe it's because it's too short. So I would just take the I, remove it, and put it here. So now let's play that. Oops.
I can't believe I thrifted this.
So now you see that timing's a little off, but for some reason it's not showing up the way I would want it. So let's play it. Right around here. And when you need to do this, I'm just going to zoom in so you guys can see because this is real little. I just listen and I put the playhead where I think the new word should start. And I scoot it over. It's not that tricky.
Can I show you a cool shortcut to do that? So hit Command Z.
Please.
So bring it back and Command Z one more time. So if you hit the N key, so hit N on the on the timeline panel. So it's so hit N, I believe, and then hover over the gap, and then you can slide that over.
Oh, okay. So here was where I need to shift
so then you would, so the I thrifted would start eating into believe.
There we go.
So
let's see.
yeah, so I think that's like the
Yes.
the rolling edit tool, I believe, but that
Yes.
way it just saves you a couple clicks and then you just
That's
kind of
so
shift the
good.
timing on those.
Yes, that's good. And you can use that across your whole timeline. I just always
Exactly.
forget that it exists. But yeah,
Can't believe I thrifted this.
there we go. And you can also join some. So if I double click, I can hit, this time it showed up merge captions, and now I merged it. I wouldn't want to merge those two, but I might want to merge these two. And now they're merged.
I thrifted this. Look at this. Okay, you need.
Boom. So there's so much flexibility when you edit with the text editing tool, because you can edit the actual timeline, and you can also edit the graphics and customize it and really make it your own. So now you can see I have a 20-second version, and we have the original 50-second version. I feel like I want to play them both. Do we have enough time? Yeah.
Yeah, we got 4 minutes, so there is time.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Let's play the original version, and you guys take notice of when you're falling asleep.
I can't believe I thrifted this. Look at this, okay? You need to take a second, take this all in. When I saw this on the shelf, I thought at first that it was just like a reproduction, like a modern take of this vintage pattern. But no, this feels like not just your run-of-the-mill little box. This is the best part. In here are a ton of recipe cards for different like Jell-O recipes, which, you know, iconic. Each single one has its own little illustration with the recipe on the back. It's literally the coolest thing I've ever seen. And there's just tons of these. I mean, the whole thing. Original illustrations with a simple little recipe on the back, and it comes in this amazing tin. So these are all the amazing recipe cards I got. I mean, there's so many more. As an illustrator, these are gonna provide so much inspiration, and they're also just so cute. I can't.
Wow. Was I bored in that edit?
I
so
think there was a lot of
boring.
filler in the middle before we got to the product where you start talking about
Yes.
it's a lot of things that we kind of hacked
Yes.
away on the short one. But it's funny, you know, like the 1 minute seems like the perfect amount, and then you make a shorter version and you're like, oh
Like,
my.
why
It's,
did I
it's
ever
funny when you
have
look at
that?
those relative to the other.
Yeah, you
It-
can
it
really
happens all the
tell
time.
I was rushing the edit. I was just like, I don't want to think anymore about this. Like, this flows enough.
Yeah.
Because editing 20 seconds is a lot. You have to be a lot more critical. So let's play the
Oh,
20,
for sure.
the beautiful 20-second
The
version.
beautiful, hand polished 20-second version.
So snappy.
I can't believe.
Wait.
I can't believe I thrifted this. Look at this, okay? You need to take a second, take this all in. So these are all the amazing recipe cards I got. Each single one has its own little illustration with the recipe on the back. I mean, there's so many more. These are gonna provide so much inspiration, and they're also just so cute. I can't believe I.
So that was a lot
That's a banger.
snappier. It's
That
so much
snapper,
better.
I feel like it's got the perfect amount. It's talking about it, it's showing hero shots, it's describing it, and it's
It's a little bit of
that
everything.
one works.
So
This is the one. I'm
now
feeling good
this is
about
the
it.
one that I'm going to take to Instagram a week after I upload the long one if I wanted to. Post the short one. Who cares? No one's going to remember that you already posted it, or they're not even going to see it. So post all the edits that you want to post. Space them out, I recommend. But the one quick way I edit it is I go to export, and the best part is you can turn the captions on and off. So again, leave the captions on for Instagram, turn them off for TikTok, turn them on for YouTube Shorts. And yeah, then now you have at least 2 different versions, but you can keep making tons of versions for all your other platforms without having to start from zero each single time.
Easy peasy.
So
Fabiola, you killed it. That was so fun.
yay! Thanks.
stuff.
Oh my gosh, thanks for art directing, or is it called art directing when it's
Producing, sure.
Producing, yes.
Video producing. Yeah.
this amazing video? It's gonna be a banger. We're gonna sell out
It's
these
gonna be a
vintage
banger.
tins.
have you posted it yet? The short one yet?
The short one I haven't posted. I only
So
have the
you
long
are gonna
one.
post it.
So I'm gonna
Okay.
post the short one.
I'm
Yeah,
curious to see how it performs. This could be it. You know, it
This
all
could be-
happened here on Adobe Live.
exactly.
This is a Fabiola before she. Well, you already have a solid following, so you know what you're doing. But good job. So, anyways, everybody, don't go anywhere. Stick around. Next up, we have the artist spotlight with Chris Georgines, and Alex Hogue is your host. So don't go anywhere. Chris has been a long time Adobe Live guest. He's also an amazing illustrator and animator. So have a look at his journey and see everything that he's done, because that's going to be an amazing spotlight. So don't go anywhere. Fabiola, it was a pleasure as always. Thank you for coming on the show. That was fun.
Thanks for having
Very
me.
engaging content. Love it. Fun stuff. Won't be the last. All right, everybody. Stick around. We will be right back. See you in a bit. Bye-bye.